All right, welcome everybody. I'm aaron2u2, and I will be playing this Zelda 2 ROM hack called Resurrection of Ganon. Now, this has actually come out this year, so it might be the newest game that we will see today. Yeah, I don't think there's any other Zelda games come out this year, has there? No. Either way, what you will see is this is something of an overhaul of the base game, and we will be starting here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. And here we are running around, dodging encounters. A lot of this will look very similar to the base game of Zelda 2, as you will see here. But there's a few different changes, and you'll see a lot of these here real quick. Like this town, normally Rauru has a bunch of people wandering around. In this game, there aren't really any people. You won't see much anyone. And yeah, this does hold pretty close to the base game Zelda 2. You won't see a lot of differences in some regards, but there will be a lot of very basic things. Like instead of the old man, we see a floating fairy down here, which is... one thing that you don't see changed in this game is text speed. So we still have a little bit of that going on where we have to wait. So we get the guard spell. This, before I go any further, I should mention this category is 100% no major glitches, which means it does allow for up A's. And that's important because there's a lot of times where you have to wander all the way across the map back and forth, and to not allow for that would be pretty painful. But what we're doing off the bat here is collecting a few things that are useful. The first thing you saw there was the guard spell. That spell is actually, you might recognize it, you might, well, that's just shield, right? No, it's actually the combination of the vanilla shield and reflex spells, which makes some of the stuff here at the beginning quite a bit easier. I will try to avoid a lot of the encounters and stuff, but unfortunately, I'm still going to wind up eating a few of them. Or duck in here to reset the encounters. And you will see the overworld looks very similar. There's a few graphical changes and a few like palette swaps. But the concept of this game is that it is after the events in vanilla Zelda 2.
Hey, can sorry, just quickly jump in because I quickly wanna, before it gets real hard in your marathon, in your run, I want to get one donation out because it's really funny. But just when you have a moment.
Go ahead. That's fine.
All right. Gymnast86 donated $250. What a champ. Said, I missed PB by about 250 seconds. Tres too bad for Majora's Mask. So Jim put Tres too bad as the file name for Majora's Mask in front. So if you want to change that, go ahead. Else we're only $455 away from the 10K. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for the donation. This is I became alerted to what pancreatic cancer was. I think a lot of people were kind of the same time when Patrick Swayze was going through his issues before his death, where he eventually succumbed to the cancer. But it is particularly lethal version of cancer. The survival rate and everything is not very high. So getting that, any extra money might help somebody survive from this, which is pretty amazing, you know, to play video games and such, and to think that you're doing something for someone else. So as far as my pathing goes, what you'll see is, ooh, I'm actually really close to dying. That's not good. We go directly to Death Mountain, except we go through the back door. Normally, you would, go through a bunch of stuff before you would get here. However, the way the game is set up, you pretty much have to go this direction. So, grab this fairy here. It is made easier than in vanilla, although there are a lot of things in this game that are slightly more difficult. And I won't claim this is not one of the very hard ROM hacks. that have been made for Zelda 2. There are plenty of those. You may have seen a few of them by Ice Penguin. And GTM's first major ROM hack, Winter Solstice, is quite difficult as well. This is meant to be something more of like a 25% to 50% increase. It's more difficult, but it is not outside of the realm of somebody being able to pick it up and play it, who, like me, is not an expert at Zelda 2. I do speedrun the vanilla game, but yeah. And the ferry's just right there, so you kind of want to take it. Sometimes I'll take it on the way back if I got maximum life, but I didn't, so I didn't. And that's it. Normally you see the hammer down there, but there's a key, and that's kind of weird because you do not see overworld keys in the vanilla game at all. But this is in the vanilla game, and you'll see a few little things like that that are kind of neat, that are either unique to this game or unique to ROM hacks. So now that we've went all the way down here and got the key, we get to go through Death Mountain backwards. There's, again, enemy changes and things like that. I choose not to fight these guys because they take 2 hits with attack 2, and they have a tendency to jump in your face. And I'm being a little too cowardly fighting that guy, and it kind of bit me. The guard spell, again, with the reflect and shield combination, both reduces damage by half, and it also lets you reflect projectiles with your shield that otherwise you can't, like the axes from the Dairas here, which is makes this Death Mountain a lot easier. In a full PB attempt speedrun, I will actually get the guard spell later, because I get a spell that will shorten town sequences by a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. Block, guard, block. The leveling here is also something, oops, I missed him. It don't matter too much. Something unique about this ROM hack. Let me not get hit by that guy. In that there is an additional hack made that preserves experience on resets and deaths. I believe, yes, Reflect does block axes in vanilla. You just don't see it because there's no reason for you to ever fight those enemies when you have the Reflect spell. So that wasn't something that was added, it's just the fact that Reflect is earlier makes that function actually useful. So my leveling is very important as it is in Z2. There's some differences I can take because one aspect of this game that we'll see here in a little bit is that most of the boss fights are gone. This is about surviving the actual basic levels, which can be tricky. But we are almost through Death Mountain. We just have one more screen to go, the hardest screen. This is the screen where having the guard spell is the most useful, because there is a red Daira, who we actually haven't seen yet. However, Reflect blocks his axes, so he's made to be a whole lot easier than normal. We get the hammer, but we're not done. There's one more thing we're going to do. And normally you have to walk through this town, talk to bad... Nope. There's a bridge there, and just leaving the town and lets you start right on the town, and you can just walk over the bridge and go over here. This was something that the ROM hacks creator, GTM, actually taught me. I didn't know how to do that, so he didn't do it very politely either. He was kind of mocking me, which if you know GTM, you know that's kind of how he is. So we're going to reset here after getting the fire spell. And now we are back at the beginning. And again, you will see, I keep my experience, 281 experience. This is very important. That's why this particular category is useful. Kind of the difference between like the all keys, 100% clear everything sort of category that you would see in what a lot of people do in the vanilla game. It makes this easier to level, and leveling is very important because, as we'll see here in a little... Oh, I got it. Nice. These encounters are not the easiest to skip, so... And now we are in P1. If you notice, the castle was actually underneath a boulder. And that is why we had to go hammer first. All of the castles are very much like the vanilla game, except, as you can see, this looks a little bit different. And that's because they've been overrun. This game is after the original Zelda 2, and basically all the palaces have been left to decay. Oops, I forgot to do a little turn back there and got hit twice. Oh, okay. Our next level should be Attack 4, and we're going to end up having Attack 4 for a bit. We will fight that guy later. The pathing, there's a lot of... What's really fun about this hack is there's a lot of little changes from the vanilla game that add flavor without making you have to really relearn or learn completely new pathing. I'll fight that guy later too. Let me just pace. Alright, we got him on the way. I will cast Guard here. And hey, there is a red Iron Knuckle in P1. I mean, you're not used to seeing that, right? Yes, Attack 4 in P1. Ideally, we're leaving at 4-1-3, although after we hit Attack 4, we start to prioritize magic levels. Which I don't really have any spells I need to cast that much right now. So I don't worry about it too much until after this. But in the next place, what are you doing? Okay. I can take deaths here. One aspect of 100% NMG is it means I basically get full lives at the beginning of every section. Which lets me be a little bit reckless, but the big thing is magic refills, because as you saw, I started with one magic container. That makes magic consumption a little bit rough. And I am very low on life, but I can take a death here or there, and it won't be too bad. Obviously, it's better if I don't. Cooler if I don't, you know? Alright, that's a good bag drop, so we got the Attack 4. Do you want that? I guess I could have got that on the way back. Oh, he's live. So we get the key up here. Yes. Grand Palace at the end is definitely one of those. The deaths are more or less prescribed because you need to... And in the way that I do it, in the speedrun at least, you have to do a lot of death abuses, so... I didn't mention it before, but you saw me go underneath and not through, like you would normally do, go back up the elevator and then go over. There is a very important reason for that. And that reason is that GTM in his infinite knowledge, infinite abilities, decided to put a blue IK over there, blue Iron Knuckles that you normally don't see until Palace 3. With Attack 4, or even with, I guess I had a, oops, I jumped right into that. I had Attack 3 when it started. You don't really do a whole lot of damage to them, and I had no real desire to fight it. So this will be a reoccurring theme. When in doubt, skip the blue IKs. So thank you, Sheepdog, for pointing out Horsehead. I will tell you, he is not here. And we are done with P1. Horsehead is conspicuously missing. And the reason why he is missing is because, again, this is after the events of the original game. I do not think so. I think his full tag is GTM 604. I think he goes by item drop on the ROM hacking forums, where you can find this. And after the run, assuming that our hosts don't mind, I would actually drop a link to both GTM's site where he hosts the ROM hack and to Bent Glass Tubes. SoundCloud, who is the person who created the music for this ROM hack, you will notice that all the music is original / remixed, and it's very unique. And honestly, I have grown to like the music in this game better than the original. I play this music a lot, especially starting my own streams. So now we have the ability to get very high, which is in fact the jump spell. We could have got that earlier, but I didn't because I didn't really need it. Actually, I think jump's the next spell I want. So you'll see I exit the palace the same way every time, or excuse me, the starting position. And now we are going to P2. There's a few things I could have got already that I didn't to hasten the game along. We're just going to take this encounter on the road there, and alright, we get the lucky back spawn, and now we are in Palace 2. There's no way to save high roll, indeed. So, much like Palace 2 in vanilla, we have to go all the way down. And I guess I'll take Magic 3 after all. I was going to try to delay it as long as possible, but I can't delay it any further. It would take too long to get. Yeah, I don't exactly know what GTM speedruns. So, in a full regular run, going all out aggressive, a little careful because I thought that was going to happen and it did. I can take a death abuse there at the end of that area. I am going to preserve my lives, though, for marathon safety. And that's also why I took the guard spell at the beginning. You can push that back to later. And why I took the jump spell instead of pushing that back to later, too. Because we get something that makes those town sequences go a little bit faster. And we will see that after this palace. You notice every different level has a bit of an aesthetic that's been added. Parappa Palace usually is in Parappa Desert. Now it's more like Parappa Forest. The swamp here has been mostly grown over. I probably should have grabbed that. Alright, I will be a little bit cowardly here because I don't have down stab, which I also could have gained. Once you have jump, you can get down stab, just like in the vanilla game, but I postponed it because, mostly for memes. I don't think that I will die not having down stab. Plus down stabbing, when you already have the glove on those blocks, is bad. But hey, look, it's a blue IK, and that is number 2 blue IK that we have dodged. If you guys want to keep count in chat, you will see that it starts to become more of a reoccurring theme. And again, at attack 4, they're not very appealing. Oops. I just jumped right into that. No, plenty of grass everywhere. And now, E2, which is normally a swamp palace, most of the swamp has been overgrown and has disappeared. This guy here is gone. Let's see. Pop him. And, yeah, so you might remember this as the Falling Block room. Instead, we have what kind of looks like a hand with one finger extended. Kind of a reference to the vanilla game, where they like to call it the middle finger room, because sometimes the game just puts a giant block of things and kills you. Alright. Well, I was actually not expecting to get that, and accidentally died at the end of the room. That's not good. So normally I get Magic 3 somewhere in this palace right before I fight this guy. Unfortunately, that didn't work out that way. I'm ahead, which is fine. It actually means I can skip some things later if I continue to be. The 50-50 drops that you get from large enemies, like in the original game, actually matter a lot here. So we skip that guy. We're gonna let that guy just go by. Let's not run into the skull bubble. Nice. I have a very bad habit of running into the skull bubble. And I will tell you that with a lot of confidence, GTM has placed enemies in this game specifically to troll you. He's shifted a lot of stuff slightly from vanilla to be more annoying. So you have to kind of keep that in mind as you're going along. That death there, that's actually the one that I took a little bit ago, is a potential death abuse room. Oops. This is not, though, so let's not die. Thank you. I will take life 4 to get my life back. That's not necessarily in the leveling pathing, but it works. Marathon safety, taking a life level early isn't going to make me very sad. So, again, and continuing with the palace narrative, there's a lot of things that have just changed a little bit. We don't have to go right to get that key because I believe it's just a red jar now, and I don't need to go out of my way for a jar. Actually, I kind of do. I just realized I do need to cast one more spell before I get out of here. Although I guess I would be able to survive without doing that. Anyway, here's a hard part. Since I don't have down stab, I have to be a little careful there, but we managed. And then just kind of going through the basement of P2. This should be about the end. Last screen. This screen is designed to be really annoying. And you'll see this in a lot of places, that he took low experience annoying enemies and has placed them in obnoxious positions to make things a little more difficult. So we will go ahead and cast Jump, get our magic container. Oh, I attacked him. I didn't mean to attack him. Just get out of the room. We're just gonna, there we go, wait for that to leave. And we left P2. Oh, shoot. So the point in doing this was to recover life so I don't die. However, I died. So I still have one turn. There's one more thing I want to grab before we reset. Normally I would go up there and there's a fairy underneath that forest, just like in vanilla. However, I managed to just die on the screen, so... I try to play these rooms as safe as possible. In fact, we're going to cast Guard here to be real safe. Because now I can block the Dyra shield. The Dyra's axes. Let's see. Yep, I'll just block him, fight him straight up. And they replaced the last one with a bit. And that is it for the P2 section. And yes, I did forget to mention that. Thank you for pointing that out, Chosen. The gems are already placed. If you look at my spell menu the next time I pop it up, you will see that I have all of my gems placed. So all I need to do is go directly to the end, theoretically. However, I can't because everything is item blocked here or there. So you basically got to do the same thing that you normally do in the vanilla game. Now this path, I'm going out of order for what GTM expects. Normally you would want to get down stab before going through this cave, but I don't have it. So we did get... Oops. Oh, I'll take that, that's fine actually. And you'll notice when I hit the fairy, it actually recovers your magic too. And I did that too late. Just like in the vanilla game, there are encounter skips that you generally want to take here. Because the walking is slow and a little dangerous. Casting Guard isn't. Well, I didn't do that one, so I'll walk this screen. As you'll see, this screen is not super tricky. But again, one of the things that you might not have noticed is the spells are slightly out of order. Fire came early, and while I haven't used it yet, just like... This fire hasn't really changed. Even though it's cheaper than normal, it's still just the fire spell. And there's only a couple of times where I'll be thinking about using it in the speedrun. But yeah, still no people. I like the bats are in here. I think that's referenced to the vanilla game, where if you talk to the townspeople in Darunia, they will turn into bats sometimes. I don't know what the developers were thinking about when they did that. But yeah, we're through a little bit of a slow part, and there's a reason why this has been prioritized. All windows, yeah, like there's nothing. You don't see any people. Everything looks run down and shut up. Towns are half destroyed. And you would think, well, wait, didn't Link save Zelda and rescue everything? Well, it seems like he didn't quite get that. So I'm not killing that bat. It's actually going to save me a very small amount of time because it'll keep me from having to skip the level when I get this. So here is one of the big changes in the game. This isn't something unique to this ROM hack, but it is the first ROM hack that I have seen that uses it. This is the spell of dash. Now, if you've seen the randomizer for Zelda 2, you will have seen a version of this. And the dash spell is something that makes this speedrun a lot of fun and quite challenging. Basically, the game has now shifted from what it used to be. How did I know your name? I can read chat, Chosen. I do have chat up. Thank you very much. But now I'm going to go to get down stab. So it's very important that I get up stab before down stab. I mean, it isn't, but I like to joke that up stab is the best stab. Oh yeah. So we unfortunately cannot get the fairy spell yet. So you will not see me darting over there, but you do see the dash just kind of running around, going fast. And now we talk to this guy, and he gives us down stab. And then we also reset the game, go back to start. And yes, you will see my magic bar is now basically dash casts. Not all of it. I do have to be a little bit careful here and there, but the rooms that I will be casting dash in are mostly planned, with some exceptions. So, whoop. We're just gonna fly over everything and go in here, get this heart container. I could have got that at any time, and chose to put it off as long as possible. Now, I will not cast dash on the main screen. This is something that messes up the initial manipulation leaving, and I've never bothered to learn what it would look like. But otherwise, you have to think about where is the efficacy, like what use am I getting out of dash? That's only half of a screen, and so I don't really worry about it too much. If I can get like a dash cast and a full screen versus half of a screen, I prioritize that. So go. It's planned mostly that I can get road encounters. I don't worry about it too much. But hey, we have another town, but we have a town with dash, which means that we go fast. In fact, this is an area where I've had to plan my dash casting because it costs 16. I only have 3 bars, so I can only cast it 3 times. Skip the ferry on the way in, and I'll be doing something a little bit funky. If anyone has noticed the way the game is set up, I believe it should be flashing gray instead of the multicolors when the game normally flashes, and that is on purpose. That is due to a filter that I forget the exact name of the person who's created it, but I saw Nintendesi, former, I think, Kaizo speedrunner Nintendesi, who's gotten a lot into Z2 in the last year, and he found someone in his chat who was able to get that spell, or to get something to implement that. And I'm actually working on a video to show people how to do it. And you notice I cast dash a whole bunch in that screen. Kept doing that. That was so the magic refill would continue onto this screen. It gives me 1 extra dash cast. So it's 1 more screen that I don't have to suffer through. And you'll also see that the enemies that normally you require fire to hit are not locked that way, which is nice, but not that big of a deal. Okay, we want to take the road encounter over here and maybe make it. Oh, we made it. Good. And then, so now we still have 1 more dash cast past all of that nonsense, which is nice. Because honestly, those bridges are more dangerous the slower you go. and I held down a little too long there. So a lot of the overworld enemies have not been changed. But now we are going to Vanilla P6, but this is actually required to be the third palace we go through. And I screwed that up. The first thing I will do is get the extra life that is hiding over here now. And you might say, hey, this is a speedrun, what are you doing wasting time going to get extra lives? Well, this is my most hated palace. This is not an easy one at all. And it's not because of the leveling or the experience. It's because... Whoops. Oh, we don't want to fight that guy. There's a 50-50 jar there. We'll have a chance to go back there and get that in a moment. But the big problem that I have here is that there are a lot of parkour sections to this palace. Normally, if you think about P6, you think about how would somebody change P6. You have to think that we don't have the fairy spell. And in fact, I cannot get the fairy spell yet. So I'm going to actually cast life for survivability. I don't want to. But I'm going to be very careful about my lives because this is an area that I have taken game overs on before, and I really don't want... game over in this game isn't quite as debilitating as it would be in a normal run because your experience does not get reset, but it still is bad as you would imagine, and I wouldn't want to make everyone suffer through too much nonsense if I can avoid it. There's another blue IK I chose not to fight. Again, attack 4, they are not appealing to fight. But in the actual speedrun, you plan for a death abuse somewhere around here. So I need to fight this guy, and I'm going to do it in a very cowardly fashion because I'm a little bit low on hit points. And there we go. We get the key that was hidden down there. And actually, I can cast Jump right now. It's probably a good idea, so I don't fall down there and immediately get killed. And then we'll cast Jump again. Because this room hasn't changed a whole lot. Instead of the Whiz Robes, we have Alphos, and I got killed by one of them. Good. There is, in fact... Oh, you are counting. Good. Yes, keep counting the blue IKs that I'm skipping. I love it. I didn't need to do that. I don't know why I was... And... Whoosh! There we go. Oh, hey, another red one. Well, we don't need that yet, so we'll come back. Yes, jumping over the Canada hole. However, that is not the end of that. In fact, that is mandatory routing of this category. I will have to go down there. It is probably no coincidence that GTM is Canadian. I guess I didn't really need that, did I? So, dash cast, because this is a long room. I'm scared right now. I don't want to die again. Sometimes I wait to cast dash till after I fight that guy, because they can be a little tricky. Just gonna do this slow. Your movement, when you're going faster, actually increases the enemy's movement. So there can be some problems there. Oh. There we go. It's very important to get this bag because it's 500 experience. That was a lot of experience. But I actually want to kill these guys to farm for another bag. Because they're all over the place. There are just places where GTM seemed to know that we were going to need magic and decided to throw a whole lot of bots around. So I think this is a... that's not the 50-50. So now we get to walk kind of slow for a while. Actually, I think dash is the next thing I'm going to cast. That red IK is actually not a bad enemy to take a death warp on, but since I've already died once, we're just gonna go slow. Or not, it wasn't a red IK, it was a red Stelphos. Anyway. So, this guy we skipped before, whoop! We're gonna skip him again. Certainly the experience would be nice, but I'm gonna just skip him for now. If I'm behind in experience, if I don't have the leveling I have right now, I could have went left there. But I'm fine. I don't want to risk anything else pushing the boundaries a little too far. And you might remember this is the bot lava room. Well, it's like sand, I guess. These enemies are no easier than they are in vanilla, however, so it takes a little while. I probably should have grabbed that, but I'm scared. 6.2. I did hit it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just saying, don't be scared. Quickly, just quick main. We're again only $455 away from hitting $10,000, which would be a huge achievement for all of us. There's still one more incentive open. That's the blindfolded Majora find at the end of Majora's Mask. That's a $1,473.20 into $1,800, so only a little more than $325 left there. And you can also still decide on the in the bit war for the file name for MM. Currently leading is TLoZ to bed with $275 and ahead of Copper with 100. Make sure to get your money in. It's for charity, and you can win a prize. Back to you, Aaron.
All right, thank you very much. And you said don't be scared right before the scariest room in this palace. Maybe second scariest. There is another one, but when I was talking about parkour rooms, that was one of them. And okay, this room is also not pleasant, but it's not super scary. I just have to be a little careful with how I do things. It's not too bad. Oh, like that. It's designed to punish you for downstabbing the guys. Also, casting dash kind of hurts you here, and I always forget that. So, don't die. And we died. Okay. But we do have some extra lives, so it's not super bad. And we are nearing the end of this palace. Actually, I want to cast that again. As if you remember, normally you don't go down here unless you fall down the fairy pit and goof it up, but oh, go away. And okay, I would like to cast dash here, but I cast it in the last room for some reason. Sometimes I forget that because there's so many different rooms to remember. Now this room, you have to go this way. You might think, oh, that's just an extra turn. Well, nope. And we're just going to die here, too. But we did get that extra turn. There's another one. No, this is actually not where dash originated, and this is a modified version of what you've seen in Randomizer. Okay, this part's really hard. This is a 3-tile jump that you have very little time to prepare yourself for. And, but we got it. So I'm just gonna kill you anyway. There we go. And now, assuming I don't overjump this, that is the end of piece 6, which is, in my opinion, the hardest one here in the game. So that doesn't mean the game is just easy. The normal screens themselves are actually tailored pretty well. Again, I like to call this like a 25% difficulty increase ROM hack. Casting dash just makes it a lot more hectic and challenging. So as far as the speedrun goes, there's a little bit of added juice there. But you did see the item we got was the... Oh, I messed that up. The item we got was the boots. So we are going now to the Ocean Palace. I'm going to actually dip in here to make sure my encounters go the way I want them to. Alright. Yeah, the music is amazing in this game, and Again, at the end of this run, assuming I remember, I will link the SoundCloud to the full soundtrack. I believe it is pay what you want. So if you are cheap, you can just pay. You can take it for free, and I think he's okay with that. And now we are in P5, which is the fourth palace. And this is like my least favorite room in Vanilla P3 because I do stuff like that all the time. No dash in this room because I'm going to cast Jump. So no need for Eco Key. Again, he knows that there's no way we should have Fairy yet. So he actually makes it a little bit easier. Now this room is really tricky because he placed things to make it more difficult. And getting Magic 5 off of that bag is the 100% planned way to do this. Because it gives me a full magic refill at a very important time to keep my dash casts up. And, excuse me, you would see normally in Vanilla, people don't count their enemy drops. Well, too much. I will be 100% here, killing every small enemy I can to try to get additional jars, because each one of these jars is at least one dash cast. Getting Magic 5 dashes actually went down to 12, and oh, I forgot about that guy. Okay, you might remember this was a falling block room. I like to call it the react block room. Don't tell him I said that, because he has lost many PBs there. Well, punch the wall, get that. I'm going to actually cast Life. We're going to skip that guy. I know when you're not casting Dash, it just feels like you're molasses. But, oh, I didn't mean to cast Dash here. I always forget about this room. And hey, it's a unique enemy. This is an enemy that GTM, I think, programmed in, and it's supposed to look like the blocks from Zelda 1. And he said that there's something really funny about the way that they work, to where he doesn't have their movement to go back up and down. They were supposed to just go one direction. But there's something about programming him that did that he thought was funny, so he just kept it. Alright. Oh, and another bag. And I despawned the last skeleton in that room. Yes, blade traps. Thank you, GTM, for finding a way to put that in. And hey, another blue IK. We're just gonna match their speed and dodge them there. Okay. You will see that the Magos in here are normally a pretty good way to get experience, but compared to Vanilla P5, they are the same, and I am different. I am a TAC 5. And hey, there we go. We got an extra dash cast because I bothered to kill those bots. No. Extra turn. Come on, guy. I'm gonna fight him too. He's optional, but I like maximizing my experience wherever I can. Also, that was a mistake. I should not have cast dash there. But it probably will be fine. I'm just going to have to kill these guys. Or actually, you know what? Never mind. We're going to... This is the what I like to call the death abuse room. Okay, so somebody else had done it too. Then forgive me, I didn't mean to give GTM too much credit, but he did tell me there was something really funky about the way they were programmed. A lot of the ROM hacks are a big community effort, and you will see a lot of names here in the credits, assuming I beat the game, which I intend to. Alright. I'm trying to... There we go. We get the key, and we just take another death. So you will not see 888. That is... and this is why I get all those extra turns. just in case things wind up that way to where I want to take multiple death abuses. This palace is not quite as scary as the last one. If I die here, it's generally because I'm bad at fighting things, and not because I'm bad at dodging a bunch of stuff. I always forget that guy is designed specifically to throw the fire at you if you bounce off of that dude. There's a lot of little tricks there. Hey, there's another blue IK. We will not fight him. Oh, I actually shouldn't have cast Dash here. That's okay. I will not cast it in this room to compensate. My end leveling, I don't actually gain too many more levels out of here. We're going to cast Dash in this room, just because this is a long room. If I would not have died twice in that previous room, if I had one more life, I would Death Abuse here, because it's kind of long, and I have a decent shot of dying anyway. Because it's a parkour room. Zelda 2 Vanilla, if you do all keys, it's just a 50p bag. I probably don't need to bother with that, but... See, it messes up my rhythm in this room now. But it does 886. And we get a full magic refill. I probably could cast Dash this way, but I guess I'll be safe after I messed it up the last time. Oh, it's a previous IK, but I don't know. You can keep counting it. I'm still skipping it, right? He's gone. Oh, hey. I would rather have had the jar drop, but whatever. I don't think so. Not with my less than stellar. Yeah, I should have cast Dash here and not in that last round. But, there's a 500p bag. Those are very important. Honestly, I think if you saw 500p bags in the palaces in Vanilla, you see people go after them more often. That's very important. Alright, cast Dash here. Now we enter the Mago hallways, and there we go. We're going up. I don't want anything to do with these guys. We are hiding, and look at this hallway. Isn't this great? But now I'm just going to go ahead and die on take a Death Abuse to skip through. Yeah, that blue IK gets the worst treatment. I'm not going to bother with that bag. It's too long to get. And this hallway is scary. I want to play it as safe as possible. And hey, look, there's another blue IK. That we skip. Oops. I didn't need to go back and kill him. Oh, I can cast Dash here too. And we get our magic container, but we don't up A here because there's another thing we can do. And this is another case of GTM doing something kind of fun. Hey, look. I'm just walking down to Kasuto from P5. You cannot do that. Oh, actually, I want to do this. The item in here is normally you need like a certain amount of magic containers to get to it. It's just a 500p bag in here instead of a magic container, which is good because now my leveling is basically guaranteed at this point. I don't think I even need another bag drop. But, so yeah, 654. The goal is 756. Whoops, I walked right past it. Yep, I did not have to destroy it. I actually discovered that yesterday when I was practicing this. I had always destroyed it before, but not necessary. So we get the spell of Spell, which costs 60. If I didn't have Magic 5, it would cost 80. He makes the spell very expensive, and I asked GTM about that, and he said it was because he hated Spell. So, we do our upstab pose. Actually, I need to put dash back on. So we get the heart, and that ends that segment. And now we get to go on to something we missed before. There is a palace that's actually blocked by 3 different items. There are 2 different items and 1 spell that we're going to see here in a minute. Well, thank you. Yeah, I didn't do the reverse upstab, but it was an upstab. So we're going back here. Unfortunately, I think I didn't need that. Well, you could always, maybe send a message GTM's way. He might be able to help you with that. He is around. He just doesn't socialize a whole lot. So it is possible to reach him. I sent him a message yesterday and be like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm running your game at an event. I forgot to tell you. And he's just like, hey, I'll be at work, but cool. So we're getting the fairy spell. We found the medicine in the bottom of P5. And I've kind of glossed over what we're finding as far as that's concerned. But I guess you guys can see it on the screen. If you're familiar with ZT, you know exactly what the items are and what they do. So our next goal is P3. And yeah, normally this is the 3rd palace. It is the 5th palace I'm doing. We're gonna play it safe. If I get here without taking a fight, it'll basically be a miracle. And I did. Hey, look! I just walked over the river. I'm gonna take that. The normal cave that you go down is blocked over. And, yes. I get to fight these skeletons. I also have to fight this guy. I am terrible at fighting Doom Knockers in this particular ROM hack. Yeah, and I guess Life 5 was what I wanted. And I forgot not to cast Dash in this room, but it's not quite as bad as it usually is. It's a difficult room to deal with those floating heads. I just skipped that red IK because it's such a terrible room. And secret. We just fell down the hole here. I do need to cast jump, back to dash, and get this bag. Now, again, more experience, free experience, pretty much always take free experience. Cast dash here. In a non-speedrun, you might not want to cast dash as much as I am, but here we go. Death Abuse to get our magic refilled. After the last 2 palaces, which were just complete slogs, we have this one. This is a fairy block, but look at all these bots. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bots. But yeah, this room is fairy blocked. It is boots. This palace is boots blocked, and there's also just regular blocks that you have to go bust up. Oops. And I am getting wrecked by that guy. So, getting jar drops here. Did I get... No, I guess I didn't have another one. Okay. It's really nice. Yes, I probably should just cast Reflect, or the guard spell, in this case, which has the Reflect capability. I'm gonna go back to that. These jars actually are kind of important. Which again... Normal game, you pretty much never want to stop for a white jar. Oops. Alright. I'm gonna cast Life, actually, because I'm not doing so hot. Hey, another jar. The Wizrobes, just... You might think, hey, guard's only 1 bar. It'd be a good idea to cast that there. Well, I'm gonna cast jump here too. The problem is that... Hey, look, there's a blue IK that I didn't fight. Oh, that guy just fell on my head. Well, I don't need him either. There's another 500 bag. Another blue IK. No, that's actually a good point. I always forget that I can do that. I still get hit by him. You can reflect these guys. And up here. And unfortunately, the skipping all of the blue IKs thing is basically impossible. So we did have to fight that guy. I don't need you. I'm sorry. That is such an absolutely great meme. And now we're floating up here. We have to cast Fairy here to exit. Fire is still in. Reflect and Shield have been removed for Guard. Actually, I could just cast this. There we go. So, there's one more thing I need to do. Ah! Nope, just run. Survive, don't worry about. And there we go. So... Oh, you can see it as not canon if you want. It's not made by Nintendo, so you can do whatever you want as far as that's concerned. Again, this is supposed to be post Zelda 2, the idea. And by the way, we're going to the last palace we haven't seen yet, which is Palace 4. Palace 4 in the original, the Maze Palace. This isn't intended to be the last one. It's just the most optional palace, and I have some good reasons for wanting to do it last. Imagine dying 2 steps before the heart container. I have died on that Gurria before. Instead of the 1-up, we get a 200 P-Bag. It's a little bit closer to our final attack level, which is attack 7. Since we have the boots already, we can cheat up here. And this, you might realize, is not palace music. And he has made the interesting design choice to turn P4 into a cave. I also shouldn't have cast Dash yet, mistake. But attack 9. Who would take attack 9 in a run? We won't even get attack 8, so we don't have to worry about that. But what we will see is very little of P4, because I will basically just cast Dash through this entire place and zoom through it. Hello. These enemies are... If you try to play it normally and do this Palace 3rd, you're in for a rude awakening, because these enemies are not meant to be fought with, like, attack 4. Yep, the palace is buried. It's there's a lot of little aesthetic things like that G slips in here. We do have to cast Jump, because that or do a very difficult 3-tile jump, which I'm just not going to do, so... But I know I have to go back in. I already got the magic container, but I did not get the item. So, much like the 100% NMG category in regular Zelda 2, it is faster, oops, to get the item after you beat the palace. And... oh yeah, we're gonna skip that. But the order I do this in, because I do this late, I have magic key before I get here. So I don't have to grab any of the keys in the palace. And I also have the boots, which makes it quicker. There's just a lot of items that you can get that make this palace quicker. But we still have to get the item out of here, even though it's just a cross. So now, if you've been paying attention, you will see something very sneaky. You start next to the palace. So what happens when you go into the palace? The North Palace is, in fact, another dungeon. That is... let me look. Fairy blocked. So you have to do this basically in this order. This doesn't have to be the last palace. I could, if I really wanted to. Whoops. I forgot how to fight that guy. Anyway, we're just gonna skip him. I'm bad at fighting them in general, so let's just not bother. Oh! Shoot. I kind of ran into that guy. Yeah, a lot of people walk into it by accident. Some people never find it, even though there are hints in the game telling you to do something there. It's just somewhat obscure because, I mean, it's not like he would just write, hey, go left from start, and you find a vital palace, because we've actually missed one key item. If you haven't been paying super attention to it, we do not have the flute yet, and the end of the game is blocked by the river devil. So, all right, I got it. Most important strat in the game: cast dash so you can jump up and down stab the falling red IK right in the butt. Hop! Oh my gosh, I almost screwed it up because I hit the wrong button. And then I fell in anyway, shoot. Well, that's going to be a little bit annoying because it's going to mess up some of my pathing. But I was going to take a death abuse right after it, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just... I forgot. I have to cast jump here. Okay. Yeah, I should cast jump instead of dash, but it's more exciting to cast dash. So we get that. There we go. Get some more experience. It is a rupee, and it is worth 1,000 experience. That is something that doesn't exist in the vanilla game. We're going to ferry through this room because it is terrible, and I will die. So I do have to preserve some of my magic from here on out. So we see a guy fall right through the floor. Well, that's a hole in the floor. G makes it nice that it's obvious that you can do that. However, if you do fall, you can jump over and get another 1,000 rupee. In fact, that's actually good. There's another one. There is so much experience in this palace if you really want to mess with it. Oof, there we go. I don't take the time in the speedrun, but there are, if I recall right, 6 of... Hey, look, we just skipped another one. Yep, we get the flute. But there's still one more thing we have to do. And I think I could actually cast dash now, but I'm still going to just be careful. Because I've kind of scared myself a little bit by messing up some stuff in this palace. 20, thank you. I think that... Nope, that is... I don't want to get ahead of myself. That could be the last one. But yeah, you see screens like this, which are supposed to be gardens. I think it's actually a pretty good job drawing this. It's kind of difficult to draw gardens. Oops, I'm going a little too fast. Hello. Nope. And there we go. That's the last one we skip. We will not see another blue IK in this game. However, here is our first boss fight of the entire hack. It's a giant undead Barba. And this is hinted at a couple of times in... Oops. So... that's why I don't bother taking any death abuses, except for the one in this palace. A little scary. Although some of this is just me not being very good at this fight. I just kind of dived into that guy. One more hit. Yeah, upstab him right in the chin. I got boned. Thank you very much, Master Dragul. And there is our last level, Life 6. Look at that. It looks like I did that perfectly. But there's a lot of leeway, and there's different things I could have done. And, yeah, now we are doing the long walk to the end of the game. Yes, Undead Barba did not stand a chance. I actually saw somebody yesterday. I was watching a regular Z2 run, and I think I saw Lord of Ultima do a double upstab on Barba, like the double hit, but through upstab, which I'd never seen before. Anyway, enough about that. Now that we have got... Dang it. Sometimes the encounters don't quite cooperate. We've got all of our magic containers, which wind up being our limiting feature. Shoot. Actually, I don't need to go in the town now, but I guess I did anyway. Okay. It walked in the way. Actually, I prefer these guys to the Tektites. They're pretty easy to dodge. Yes, I have the address on a tab that after this run I can link to... Shoot. Oh, we're still fine. I just have to be a little careful at the end. These bridge sequences are really annoying in vanilla, and they're just as annoying here, but Dash makes it slightly easier. I'm just going to have to be a little careful about my magic usage towards the end here to make sure I don't die, because I do take death abuses on this path as well. So you may notice I'm still missing the Thunder spell, and as you may know, you do need Thunder to beat the game. Well, not in this game. There's been a slight change. As we will see. I didn't get out of here. Crap. Okay. We're just going to fade out. I messed that up slightly. So I'm not going to cast Dash as much as I would normally. I would dash through this entire thing. But because I had to cast that extra fairy cast, I'm going to hold back a little bit. Yes, Lizaful's throwing rocks. They are... what is the... I'm trying to think. There was a fun term used for it. Anyway, going right in a VOD encounter. Yeah, I don't know what I wanted to go right, so I just kind of held right. Now we have the Resurrect Spell, which, excuse me, is in place of the Thunder Spell. Now, how does that change from the vanilla game? You cannot damage regular enemies with it. So there's no situation where I would cast Thunder to kill enemies. It's just not an option. Alright. Wilson's. There you go. So we grab that magic container, and now we have basically get an extra fairy cast because of that. I'm going to do the trick called Fairy Feet, which is allowed in this category, not in 100%, or excuse me, not in all keys, but it is allowed here. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Yep, we can now resurrect Ganon, and that's actually important because the storyline... Oh, hitting the wrong button. And I screwed it up. Okay. So now it's going to get a little more difficult. I'm just going to... we're going to kind of take it real easy. Because I am short a magic cast because of that. So we got through the one screen I absolutely had to do. If you're not familiar with the Fairy Feet trick, it's a screen wrap glitch. If you've seen Zelda 1 runs, it's a lot more used there. But it's a very similar sort of thing, where it's frame perfect. I hit the wrong button. Well, I'm going to have to do it one more time. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing, but I'm not super bad at it. I just didn't quite get it there. There we go. So I'm being careful because I have no lives to spare. Normally I would take a second death abuse if I needed it, but I'm just going to get hit by that guy because it doesn't matter. So we are entering Great Palace, which is underneath the second River Devil. And yes, there is something about the word resurrect that the author of the game misspells on a couple of occasions. But we're in Grand Palace, also known as Dash Palace, to me at least. Yeah, in that case, that's probably it. But he does actually misspell resurrection at one other point. Don't tell him I called him out on the VOD for that. Oops. Small drops, again, are actually very important here. There is no barrier. He just draws it on. Like, physically, the background has been drawn to have that. But there are still a lot of empty rooms. The pathing through here is not super different from vanilla for a while. We will see a change. Oops. Okay. Getting through there with only one hit, honestly, is about par. And I'm going to be taking some things a little easier than normal because my practice hasn't been extraordinarily good here. And I don't want to, you know, game over in the last battle, so... Oh, let him out. Okay. Like that. Just let the guy out. Oops. I didn't get the last hit there. Alright, run out. Alright. Dash. Right underneath the guy. Get hit by this guy repeatedly. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and cast Life. Even though there is a bit of a death abuse that I could take, that's too early. Oh! Okay. That's not the room I wanted to do it on, but it's okay. It's fine. It's the problem with Dash. Sometimes you go just a little too fast and have trouble lining up things. So the second hardest part of the run is right here. And it all comes down to whether or not I can, whoops, hit the buttons correctly. There we go. This is our Quantum Leap room. It's in a slightly different spot because of the alternate routing, but it's the same guy. Crap. Okay, he's on the other side. That could have been a lot worse. I'm not complaining about that room. Oops. Alright, so I'm in trouble here again. I think I'm just gonna cast Life and go a little bit slower because of, you know, marathon safety and all that. Normally, I'm casting Dash just about every room from here on out. This one's kind of slow to walk, but... Jump here. No, just... No! Shoot, that was so dumb. Okay, I am going to up A and start over. Because there's basically no chance I was going to be able to finish that with one life. There's a point where it requires to do some stuff. So we're going to cut our losses and start over, rather than get all the way to the end and die. Oh, I saw nothing. Yes, none of that actually happened. It was a fever dream, and... if there is a 1-up, I don't know where it is, because the routing that I'm taking is different from vanilla. So I'm not going to where the 1-ups normally are. Yes, we're just starting over. And maybe it'll go a little bit better this time. Oops. A strategy that you can do in the vanilla game here is cast Spell on these dudes. Oh, they were on top of each other. I didn't notice that. I was wondering where he went. But, okay, there we go. Dash makes some of these rooms a lot easier. Shoot. Okay. And I don't have enough magic for life refill. Let me see. Nope. Just a skull bubble. Yes, I do like cast spell on them. Again, that's just a little earlier than it would normally be, so this is still playable. Just annoying. And I should get a jar drop from one of these guys. There it is. And continuing to kill those guys is important because I will need to use it later. Jump. And there we go. We got that the first time. Goodbye. Did not get that. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Okay. A little bit better that time. Alright, we're just going to punch that guy, walk through him. Mistimed that real bad. And again, we're just going to go a little slow to increase survivability here. And yeah, don't bother with that guy. Oh, absolutely. I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. The what I like to call the firewall to get through that room. Oh, and I don't have any magic left, so that's okay. I should be fine to get through here. There we go. We're actually almost to the end. I will not be taking any death abuses for magic refill. I will die at some point. Yeah, the fire strat there is really nice. That room can be tricky because of multiple MOAs and the floating heads all in there. This GP is actually shorter, if I'm doing it right. This one's just a little long because of, you know, something happened. But my best time in GP in this is actually quicker than it is in vanilla, although that might be just me. See? Yeah. So thank you for pointing that out. The shame. I need to get past this guy somehow without dying. And because of my magic leveling, whew, we did it. Normally it's Thunderbird. Instead it's a red spicy chicken, which in my opinion is more difficult. So what you are seeing now is the final boss. However, you have to resurrect him to make him appear, and I can't. So we're just going to get the magic refill. Casting all of our defensive spells and jump. And here he is. This is Ganon, who you normally do not fight in Zelda 2. And a little tricky. Especially because he is essentially Thunderbird, but with a couple of small tweaks. Like, he always is shooting his fireballs, but that's it. And time for the run will end here, and that is it. I believe there was a bit of a technical difficulty in the way the game ends, so it just lurches you straight to the end of the game, because normally you have to fight Dark Link, and I think it was a little tricky for him to get around. But here we go. We get our 3 Triforces, we resurrect Ganon, then to kill Ganon. And now everything's fine, because apparently he was like half undead or something. The storyline's a little tricky, but yeah, we did it. Only one undesirable game over there at the end. We get to our friend zone here with Princess Zelda. The sub 80. Yes, the world record is a 71, but I do route some things to be a little bit slower. So, and if we still have time, I want to show the credits here because there's a few names that we want to point out.
Sure, go for it.
Awesome. So we see GTM604, the creator, hacking CF207. I believe he created the Z2 edit program, which is what most of this was done in. Music by Bent Glass Tube, who is just this wonderful soundtrack is courtesy of him. Again, GTM, the main designer for the game. Special thanks to these are our playtesters. Special thanks to who we have, Sheepdog, who's been in chat all day. Thank you very much, Sheepdog, for your efforts. Eon, one of the Allkeys admins. A lot of great people who contributed to this. Max and Trax, Scorpion Max, who another former admin, been very vital to the Z2 community for a long time. Fishworks and Nintendo. So you did it. Now go play Rando by Digshake. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and link in the link to GTM's specific site where he has the patch. You can also find it on romhacking.net. That is where you could download and play this game. You do have to have the original version of the game. It is just an IPS patch. And then also the link to, I said SoundCloud, it's Bandcamp, the soundtrack to this, which is Pay What You Will by GTM. But otherwise, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Hopefully we got some donations in the meantime, and it's a great cause. But thank you, Zelda Speedruns, for helping, or for allowing me to put this on, and hopefully I did a decent job for you.
You did. Thank you so much for being on, Aaron, especially at this time. Almost close to the end with the donations that the community brought up to bring this game in. I hope you're happy. I'm definitely happy that it came in. It was a really fun showcase with great commentary. And yeah, 11840, you've stayed underestimate. And with that, let's actually break it down for the second to last time. Go to the break screen for Triforce Heroes coming up by Lou really soon. Stay tuned, everybody.